Bonjour, good people, and welcome in to another
Bonjour.
Friday night. That's like the one word of French I know outside of we. Welcome in to Friday night here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling Facebook page and the Wrestle Binge by Sportskeeda YouTube channel. Rick Ucchino, SP3, Dutch Mantell, doing kind of a quick hybrid show for you tonight. Yes, we'll talk a little bit about what happened on SmackDown. We'll get you guys ready to go for WWE Backlash live from Lyon, France. Tomorrow, it will actually be live. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. That is when the show starts. Kickoff show at noon. And, hey, with CM Punk and Big E on the panel, might be worth tuning in at noon just to watch that all that go down. So that's when the broadcast starts if you're on the East Coast. If you're out on the, Central Time Zone or West Time Zone, you're going to have to – it's going to be a little bit earlier for y'all. But, hey, if the crowd is anything like we saw tonight, gentlemen – tomorrow's going to be a good show. I don't care what happens. Like that crowd just absolutely adds to everything. I feel like if this show we got tonight was in Topeka, Kansas, we'd be sitting here talking about how much of a mundane, what do you say, Dutch, maintenance show tonight was. I think the crowd added so much to tonight's
Oh, it did. Really did. So, when they just walk to the ring and are falling out of their seats, you got to say, wow, we're in for a ride tonight. So, all right, you guys, listen, I got to make my excuse again. I had spotty internet. I saw the first one, and that's when I got the hot crowd. I wouldn't even known that. But I saw the first one, and the rest of it I kind of missed. And then I was trying to get this thing on, and hey, technology is not my strong point, so
no.
Be forewarned.
Never.
Dutch.
Come on. Don't lie to the people.
There's a reason we're a 3-panel team here, all right?
Well, I do my job, unlike you two, who lay back and...
Now this!
Yeah.
How dare you? I do my job. My job is to add color. And I do that by just showing up. But yes.
That was good. That was good.
But yes, tonight's show, this was an all-time crowd for SmackDown. Enjoyed the hell out of it. They were popping for 2 counts. Like, they were just
first one.
Yeah, they were just
the first one. They're like 1, 2.
Everything.
Oh my shit.
They ate up everything on this show. Like the feud that we were talking about with AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes being cold as cold can be, they were reacting to it like it was Cody and Roman again.
It was absolutely insane. We are going to focus on the stuff that was pertinent to Backlash for tonight's show. So if we skip over some things, there's a reason for it, all right, because we're trying to get as much in as we can over the next 45 minutes or so. If you guys got a question, if you got a comment, if you want to throw in a super chat, we'd appreciate it. Super chats are the way to guarantee to get your comment read on the air or your question to Dutch. We will fire through as many of them as possible. So let's get going here, gentlemen. We start off with the, like we said, the white hot crowd. It was Bayley, Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Bianca Belair defeating Damage Control and Tiffany Stratton. And SP3, I couldn't help but think, obviously the story of this match was still Bianca and Bayley having issues with one another, which, again, I love. This is something that we would not typically have seen in the old regime of WWE. It's kind of becoming a norm now with just because they're baby faces doesn't mean they're going to be buddy-buddy with one another. They still have a lot of history with one another. They were not on the same page.
Which is the way it should be.
Yes, yeah. 100%. But as far as what I take away from this matchup, I don't know how many different ways I can think to say Jade Cargill is a star, but Jade Cargill is a freaking star. She gets in this match tonight. The crowd goes nuts. She looks like Goro going against the rest of the Mortal Kombat competitors. Like, she is just bigger. She is stronger. She is a spectacle. And I can't help but wonder what this tag team title run is going to look like for her and Bianca, because I think it's a foregone conclusion they're winning the titles tomorrow afternoon. And to me, they're going to be the female version of the Brothers of Destruction. Like, I don't know who beats them because they're going to be that dominant.
I said I thought a female version of the Road Warriors because of how Jade comes in there, and it's very much the Road Warrior hot tag of power move, power move, power move, clothesline, corner attack. Like, it's all the simplest stuff ever, but it's all power. It's all very impactful, and it always gets a reaction from the crowd. So I think it's more Legion of Doom than Brothers of Destruction because we don't have the long rivalry before that and how they came together. So
I didn't mean from like a move standpoint. I mean from a stature standpoint. You put the Undertaker and Kane together, two of the biggest, strongest dudes in the entire industry together. It's like, how do you physically beat those guys? I think it's the same with Bianca and Jade, to be honest.
But they never really did that. They never really told that story of them being the dominant tag team. So that's why I said, like, it's more Legion of Doom was a dominant tag team. That's why I think that's more of akin of a better kind of comparison, because I think they're going to go on a long run where they are like the dominant tag team of the women's division. And it's not going to be until they kind of start clashing with one another, as we're seeing more and more Bianca Belair showing more heel tendencies. And I think through this whole story that they're telling with Bayley, we're going to eventually see the Bianca Belair heel turn.
Mm-hmm.
Dutch, do you feel like it's a foregone conclusion Bianca and Jade are winning the tag team titles tomorrow at Backlash when they face the Kabuki Warriors?
Well, it would be a great way to start them out. So you get them started there. And the difference now between WWE and what it was before, they're telling the stories earlier. So you can see where it's going. They're not hiding the story anymore. Are you sitting there going, what's the point here? They're telling you and put them together, and how impressive they look. They are impressive young women, and start them on that long run, like you say. And you notice that Bianca showing a little bit of heel tendencies, and that's for later on.
Well,
So
some frustration.
They're
Some major league frustration out of her, and she clearly tonight sent the message she's done with Damage Control. She doesn't want any part of dealing with Damage Control after pretty much feuding with them for their entire tenure so far in WWE. And I think it was interesting, SP3, when she's talking about that backstage after the match tonight, she's looking over at Bayley like Bayley is still part of Damage Control. And I feel like, there's going to be a lot of blame that she's going to continue to put on Bayley for what, the hell that she's gone through for the last 2 years.
And it makes perfect sense, and it's very akin to like the whole Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn kind of thing that they had before they got back together. But this one doesn't seem like the conclusion is them getting together. It seems like the conclusion is Bianca going heel and them feeding with in a different kind of roles, where they've always been in the role of Bianca being the baby face and Bayley being the heel, and now it seems like things are going to switch, and you can play with it and you can draw it out for a long time with Jade and Bianca being tag team champions. The very logical challengers for them would be Bayley and Naomi. That would be a very logical champion for them before you even do the Bianca and Bayley title match that they are eventually going to do. So I like the way that they laid that out. I love the storytelling in this matchup. This was honestly, in my opinion, the best match of the night by far. This had the most energy from the crowd. The ladies seemed like they were really into all the noise that was going on in the matchup. Yeah.
They owned that crowd tonight. Yeah. What I saw.
There is another match stemming from this tomorrow. Dutch, Bayley defending her WWE Women's Championship against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton in a triple threat match. So this is an interesting matchup. I don't think it's interesting as far as the results are concerned. I feel like Bayley is going to retain in what will be her first pay-per-view title defense, and the first one that's actually going to end in a clean finish, or as much as a clean finish as triple threats can go. How it gets booked is going to be the interesting part. Who takes the loss, Naomi or Tiffany Stratton in this one? How you feeling this one plays out tomorrow?
I'm going out on a limb here. I think Tiffany Stratton might come out on top in this one.
Really?
Because that frees up Bayley and Bianca to do their thing, even though they're in the tag team. But this would be we've all seen Tiffany Stratton. They're getting ready to put a rocket on her butt and let her take off. And this could be the vehicle that or the building they strap it on and let her run. And because everybody expecting Bayley to win because they see the thing with Bianca building, but let Tiffany, to me, I would say this would be a great time to put it on Tiffany.
It would be a choice right now. If you're going off of the betting line for Bet Online, Bayley is about as heavy as a favorite to win the match as Bianca and Jade Cargill are to win the tag team titles. But Tiffany would be the second choice there. Naomi distant. So right now Bayley's at negative 1,500, Tiffany plus 600, Naomi plus 1,200. SP3, what would you think about a shock title change here?
I think it would kind of be a little short-sighted, and it would cut the legs off of what I think they're trying to do with Bayley. I feel like this is the title run with her as a babyface that we never got all those years ago when she first got called up to the main roster. She had her long run as a heel, but this is a long run that at least a couple of months that she needs to have as this new babyface character to kind of reestablish herself as a top star of the women's division. So I think that Bayley retains tomorrow, and I think that Tiffany is the odds-on favorite to win the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly with that. I feel like Bayley is the perfect is the perfect driver for this women's division right now, because once you get past Nia Jax, who I think is the number one heel right now, at least until Bianca flips, right? Because once Bianca flips, whenever that happens, she'll be the number one heel on SmackDown. Nia Jax right now is the number one heel. Behind that, I mean, you've got Tiffany.
Bring in Awesome Kong. Let's bring in Awesome Kong right now.
You've got Tiffany. You have got Dutch's girl, Chelsea Green. And you've got Candice LeRae. You've got Piper Niven. All of them very, very talented, but all of them could kind of use some leveling up as far as booking is concerned, as far as, getting over with the crowd. And I think Bayley is going to be, before Bayley loses that title, I want her to do a program with Candice LeRae. We have not gotten to see what Candice LeRae is capable of on the main roster since she came back, well over a year ago at this point. She's just been kind of lulling in catering or losing or doing enhancing matches or anything. Like, she hasn't done anything really.
Yeah. I've never seen her really.
I'd like to see that actually happen, but SP3, you got that sly smile on your face. I worry when you get that sly smile on your face. I really do.
I mean,
when he gets what?
I mean, I like to see Gunther win all the titles in WWE, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that's gonna happen. I like Candice LeRae. I've been a fan of Candice LeRae since she was bleeding buckets in Reseda with Matthew and Nicholas Jackson back in the day. So I've been a fan of Candice LeRae.
Great.
I don't see this company ever pushing Candice LeRae in a title program.
I see Bayley pushing for it, which makes me think there's a slight chance we might get it. At the very least, a match. At the very least, a match.
Sid, why don't you see this company even agreeing with that?
Because I see that there's like a couple of people that they're positioning in front. Like, you got Nia Jax now on SmackDown. You got Tiffany Stratton there. You got Bianca Belair, who seems like she's teasing a heel turn. Bianca Belair is associated with Jade Cargill. They seem to be still trying to keep Naomi up in a top position here. You got Chelsea Green and Piper Niven that are going to get TV time as one of the best tag teams in the women's division. Like, those are all people on the SmackDown roster. And you're telling me to believe that this woman that was on a 3-hour show where they started a story for her and then slowly but surely gave her less and less time to tell that story, and then shifts to a show that's 2 hours long, and that certain people are going to be positioned ahead of her? You expect me to believe she's going to be in a title program anytime soon? I just don't see it.
I don't see it either. Now, Rick, since he's explained that to me, I totally agree with Sid. Candice LeRae needs to turn in her notice and go get a job.
I didn't say it was.
I didn't say all that.
And I didn't say it was going to happen tomorrow either. I'm just saying there's obviously a pecking order here. But once we get past SummerSlam and you get into the Survivor Series type era where you know the fall type stuff where maybe they start experimenting a little bit. But the problem is, and we're seeing this here in the chat, at some point Carmella is going to come back. At some point Charlotte Flair is going to come back. At some point Alexa Bliss is going to come back. Are they going to be on SmackDown? Are they going to be on Raw? No.
There was a big tease of everybody. You know, I saw a bunch of websites, including a website I write for, did a story about the QR code that would drop today with the glitch that happened on the show, and it was a glitch that basically told us that it's Bo Dallas because it said at the end because we believed, and then the glitch did the glitch thing and it said we believed, but and no one's noticing. There's a girl in a white dress. That was Alexa Bliss.
Trust me. I noticed. I got
no one's talking about it. No one's talking about it. Everybody's like immediately. We got Bo Dallas. I was like, that's Alexa.
Like, first off, that shit scared the hell out of me. Like, I got immediate like Haunting of Hill House, like girl crawling out of the well from the ring type vibes from that with the music and everything they were playing. That like literally scared the hell out of me and gave me some PTSD of watching Samira, whatever the fuck her name was, crawling out of that well in that movie theater 20 years ago. All right. I had PTSD watching this QR code thing tonight. So I recognized it. I saw it. I needed the internet to tell me about the Bo Dallas thing. That's a thing. That's a thing I actually missed. But yeah, I would not be surprised if
now look at what a change that there's been in the women's division since a year from a year ago. Okay.
The SmackDown women's division is stacked after the draft. The draft did well. It was a big difference from last year's draft where they got I don't want to use the R word, but they got taken advantage of and pilgrimages of all their women's talent last year. And then this year, like I said all those women, and that's not even mentioned all the women that you said are out and about to come back, like Carmella and Alexa Bliss. And we forgot the big one, Charlotte Flair is going to be on SmackDown as well. There's no chance Candice LeRae. I don't think there's a chance. You said after SummerSlam possibly. I don't think there's a chance Bayley's going to be champion after SummerSlam with this roster.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. They got a lot of options. Interesting. Even though this isn't really pertinent to Backlash tomorrow, I really like the backstage segment between Carmelo Hayes and Bobby Lashley tonight. Like, I love the character direction that they are going with Carmelo Hayes tonight, where he is so confident in himself. And he might be getting humbled here a little bit early on.
It's way past confident. It's definitely cocky.
It's arrogance.
Yeah,
it's arrogance. He thinks his shit don't stink, and I freaking love it. And I just love Bobby, just very subtly, like the savvy veteran that he is, just kind of putting his hand on his chest and saying, "Let me help you out, young fella. All right, I back in the day, I would have whooped your ass. I'm gonna help you out here for a second. Careful who you disrespect around here." I thought that was such a great delivery and such a great line. And you want to talk about the draft and the women's division being set up. Bobby Lashley, I think, needs to be set up, has to be feeling pretty good about where the guys division shook out in this draft, because he's one of these guys that should be a benefactor of how the division shook out with the Gunthers and the Drew McIntyres and the Sheamuses and the Seth Rollinses and the CM Punks all going on Monday Night Raw. There is no reason why Bobby Lashley can't be put back up into the main event picture, but I like that they're teasing something here between him and Carmelo.
What did you think,
Dutch? I agree. Since I didn't see it, but I agree. I agree with it anyway.
No, I agree with Rick that I like the tease of the whole Carmelo and Bobby Lashley little rivalry, and I agree with you about Bobby Lashley that when you think about it, he has to be like the third, fourth biggest baby face. No, sorry, you're actually like fifth.
Wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more.
Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, like one of those guys are going to be heel by the end, before the end of the year.
You would think
you can at least get into the top four, but still, I would think that Bobby Lashley would be in the top, or he's gonna have to turn heel to.
They
be
tried
in
that
top 30
though.
position.
They
Yeah.
tried turning him heel with the Profits, and the crowds were like, "Nah, we like you." Like,
Yeah, but I think they turned him and the Profits the wrong way.
Yeah, they
That's
didn't
what
do
I
it.
think.
They didn't do it right. They definitely
They
didn't do it right.
They didn't go full force with it.
No,
It was like, I think it was almost like a halfway deal. Say, well, let's see if they boo them just a little bit. They didn't even do that.
yeah, well, the crowds were
we're-
excited
we're-
to see them together.
no. Remember what they did. This is why y'all need me, because I have an expert memory. What they did. 3 weeks of them going after and feuding with the LWO main baby faces. Then they did 1 week where they confronted the Judgment Day, a heel stable. Then they went back to feuding with the LWO. They lost to the LWO. Then he faces Karrion Kross, another heel, and then they thought he was going to be heel again. And then he was on house shows getting cheered. And then they was like, "All right, forget it. You're babyface." So
You see, but see,
Dutch is 100% right. That is not the way you're supposed to turn guys heel. Like, no.
Before we move on, somebody asked in the chat, is there a chance when do we think we see Bo and Alexa show up? It was Hunter up here. When do you think we see Alexa and Bo show up? Is there any chance we get anybody in person showing up at Backlash tomorrow?
if he shows up, that stadium's coming down. Don't you think?
Like, if that wasn't the plan, if I'm Triple H, I'm calling Bo and like, get your ass on a plane.
Get over here.
We're gonna put you we'll just put you in the middle of the ring in the Uncle Howdy mask. You can take it off, and we'll just let the roof blow off the joint. You don't even have to say anything. All right, we'll just have you go out there, and we'll start this crap right now, based off of what that crowd reaction would be. But
it would be a big one.
They would go mental for that.
Yeah. By the way, I know other people.
The best place to get the biggest reaction possible.
For sure.
Yes.
1 million %. We do see Paul Heyman backstage with Nick Aldis. Said he sent a memo trying to get Randy Orton and Kevin Owens pulled from this match at Backlash because the rules are different, basically, with
international rules.
No, with Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Basically, what Paul Heyman is saying, he ain't got no control over these guys. It is 100% chaos. It is madness. It is violence. And they are just going to inflict it wherever they see fit. And he sent that memo saying, for the benefit of Orton, Owens, WWE, and SmackDown, pull these guys from the match. Of course, Nick Aldis says no. And then the interesting part is Paul Heyman actually slips up and reveals SP3 that he hasn't talked to Roman Reigns since WrestleMania, which means Roman Reigns did not pull himself from the WWE draft. Paul Heyman did it for Roman Reigns. Very, very interesting. Ain't nobody got control over this situation. Paul Heyman is just trying to play politics, and he's trying to rein in the tornado. And even when he was out there as part of the RKO show tonight, and the crowd is chanting for Roman Reigns, we want Roman, we want Roman. Paul Heyman, the genius that he is like, believe me, I want Roman back right now because he's the only guy who's going to rein in what's going on between Solo and Tama Tonga right now. Paul Heyman was spectacular tonight, SP3, as he always is. That's why he's the Hall of Famer.
He was really good tonight. The backstage segment with Nick Aldis and him revealing that he hasn't talked to Roman and that he had to pull Roman because he's not involved in any of this chaos and that he's in charge, but he's not in control. Yeah. So he just feels very unsafe right now, and he doesn't feel like he feels like Randy Orton and Kevin Owens should be pulled from the matchup, and that's why he acts to be on the RKO show. So that led into the talk show segment that I'm sure Rick will go over. But yeah, that was a nice little tidbit of information that we got, because it was interesting of if he had ever contacted Roman Reigns, because he tried to call him and then Solo took the phone after SmackDown after Mania. So it was nice to get that answer.
Yeah. We did get Paul Heyman as a special guest on the RKO show. First off, the reaction that Randy Orton got tonight was just special, with the crowd singing his song word for word. And he doesn't he doesn't like break character often, but it looked like he was genuinely overcome with emotion by that reaction that he got from the crowd tonight. He was fired up. He was pumped up. Kevin Owens got a great reaction as well. Heyman comes out. He's begging both these guys to back out of the match tomorrow. Says again, the rules are different with Solo and Tama Tonga just running amok right now. And basically Randy and KO, just to get you caught up, Dutch, basically told him to go pound sand. They don't trust him. They want to whoop some ass. Of course, this match is going to be happening tomorrow. How do you see this matchup playing up tomorrow? Because you got two veterans. KO has been taking, losses here and there. He's going to be fine at the end of the day. Yeah.
3 veterans.
Well, I think Solo and Tama Tonga, I think they emerged victorious, and maybe with a little afterbirth just to satisfy the crowd, because those guys need to be pushed to the moon too, because they get the Rock and Roman are in their future too, so they need to be strong, really, really strong. And I think they'll go over in this pretty strongly, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, look, Tama Tonga's had about as strong as an introduction as you could ask for somebody coming into the company. Not an NXT call-up, didn't even go to NXT. He came straight in, and boom, he's interjected in the biggest storyline that they got going on in WWE right now, SP3. The question that was asked here by Angie, she says it's as a statement. Jacob shows up tomorrow. We're talking about Jacob Fatu. We've had reports that he has signed with WWE, that he should be on TV relatively soon, but maybe those have been pushed back a little bit. Do you think we see Jacob Fatu show up in this matchup tomorrow, maybe help the Bloodline get the win over RKO?
I don't think they need to do that. I think the focus needs to be on Tama. I think that takes away the focus from Tama, and it's not the proper introduction that I think that they're trying to do with Tama. I think the reason why they've held off on Jacob's debut is because they want to put the spotlight on Tama Tonga, and the fact that they've been nailing it. I want to give them that opportunity to kind of finish the job of the introduction. You don't really need Jacob Fatu until after the pay-per-view, or maybe at the next pay-per-view.
I didn't want to miss Ozzy's super chat here. We do appreciate it. Ozzy said Mr. Heyman said he has not talked to Roman since WrestleMania, and yeah, that's a very interesting tidbit. That first off, you can see how frustrated that Paul is that he would let something like that slip, especially like we all know Heyman is a dirty, rotten liar. He's a manipulator, right? But very rarely does he get so frustrated that he forgets a lie that he told and he slips up in front of the general manager. And I loved Nick Aldis backstage. Like, he's really finding a groove with his character work as this SmackDown GM. And he didn't have to raise his voice. You could just tell, one, he was pissed. Two, he knew he caught Paul Heyman. And he was like, no, you know what? Screw you. This match is going on, and unless you want to go out there and you can talk to them right now, you go talk to them. Don't talk to me. We done talking. I thought he did a good job tonight. Roland Curtis with a super chat. When Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill win the tag team titles, I would like the company to give their characters the untold storylines that were planned for Sasha Banks and Naomi. I still want to see it. Any thoughts? I don't. Personally, because I don't think they had any storylines for them, and that's why they did what they did. Their storylines were, hey, you're the tag team champions, but we're going to go out and feed you to the 2 women's champions, the 2 singles women's champions. Those were at least what we knew to be what was going to be happening. I don't even remember who the champions were at the time. I think maybe Ronda was one of them. I don't know, but they weren't doing anything with the women's tag team titles at all. There were no storylines in place.
They weren't doing anything and didn't have anything in mind.
Yeah.
They just went out there. It's like, well, let's put the girls out there. But now when this whole landscape is so different from 18 months ago, it looks like somebody just came in, took some gasoline and a match, threw it in there, blew it up, and restarted, and now this is what we got. And they did a good job. They got They got doors and windows and hallways and alleyways and everything open for them to go down. But they're not getting in a hurry. See, years ago, and I've seen Vince do this. Things are down, he hot shots, and that hot shot hit works a week or two, and then it goes back to where it was. But now everybody has a story, or everybody's getting there and getting a story. And when that creatives, and this is the time to be a member of creative if you had something to do with this. See, when things are bad, everybody blames creative. When things are good, everybody kind of gives the credit to the talent.
Yeah.
It's actually should be reversed, really. But I think they've done a great job. And what was you just talking about? What was your last subject you were talking about? I've been hit on the head too many times.
Yeah,
He can't even remember.
I can't even remember.
I think we were talking about Roland
Hey,
Curtis's super chat. Only thing I was gonna say, you guys kind of answered the question very well said from both of you. All I want to say is that Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are not Sasha Banks and Naomi, despite being both female and African American. That's as insulting of a question as asking, "Hey, New Day, do you want to do any of the untold storylines that Harlem Heat and the Nation of Domination had?" That's how I read it. I'm sorry, I felt very insulted by
I don't get
that question.
I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying.
What is he saying?
Not all black people are the same. That's what he's saying.
Thank you.
I didn't say anything about black people.
No, I'm not talking about you, Dutch. I'm talking about the question. The question in the super chat.
Oh, the question here.
He asks if we
what
would.
What a racist bastard. What a fascist bastard.
Okay, we're going to ring it in.
What the hell
Show's
is he
going off the
talking
rails. We're going to rein it in. Oh, LA Knight comes out to a huge pop. He beats Angel Garza tonight and declares himself for the King of the Ring. I'm gonna speed through some things here. Santos Escobar says he's gonna be joining as well through a chorus of "You Suck" chants. Carlito explains why he attacked Dragon Lee ahead of WrestleMania, and as we all suspected, he wanted the WrestleMania match. At least they gave us the explanation. Our tag team title match tonight saw Austin Theory and Grayson Waller retain their championships after Montez Ford got hung up on the top rope. Kind of a low blow situation. Waller then hits a flatliner on Angelo Dawkins when he was not the legal man and allowed Austin Theory to pick up the win for his team. This was a dominating
flat finish.
Yeah, this was a dominating performance by the Street Profits. And I kind of wanted them to win, but underhanded heel tactics. Maybe there's some more juice here.
But it just made the referee look stupid. It was like he trips him up on the top rope, and the referee stands there for like a good 5-10 seconds, and then says, "Oh, let me make sure he gets out the ring so you can cheat behind my back." I was like, I hate those when it feels so telegraphed. Like
they did this 2 weeks ago with LA Knight and AJ Styles. It was the exact same situation with the poke to the eye, the elbow, and all that stuff. Yeah, no. Like, the ref can be stupid, but, like, not that stupid. Like, not that stupid.
Well, he can be that stupid.
But I just don't want
them. Don't say he can't.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Dutch, but I just don't want them to telegraph the stupid. Just be stupid. Just embrace the stupid and just be stupid instead of telegraphing and he's not shooting the shot. He is punk faking stupidity. Like when they do that stuff. Like, I don't understand that.
Julian saying Montez Ford is the future. He's so good, deserves to be a singles wrestler.
Let me say this. How long have we been hearing that?
5 years.
I think he's as high as he's going to go, really.
I've been saying it for 5 years. Look, I'll say it this much, right? This is something that SP3 and I talked about on True Heel Heat earlier this week. SmackDown, at least the men's division, feels like the land of opportunity. SmackDown again, 2016, a lot of opportunities for guys to finally step up to a part of the card they have not been able to ascend to yet. If it don't happen within the next year for Montez Ford on this SmackDown roster, man, I don't know if it's going to happen. And that's not a knock on him.
No,
Maybe,
it's
I don't
not.
know. I don't know what's going on backstage or behind the scenes, but he's a stand-up guy. He's a hell of an athlete. He's got all the charisma. The fans love him. I don't know why they are parking this dude on the bench for those long.
They need to make him a single. I think the tag team hurts him. I really do.
And don't sleep on Dawkins either. Dawkins is damn good too.
I
didn't say that. Did I
hit
say
a
that?
wall.
I know. I just throwing it in there. I got to give love for my fellow Cincinnati guy. That's all. I'm sorry.
Here we go.
I just feel like Street Profits have hit a wall, and I don't know.
They went through the wall.
I don't know if the solution is breaking them up and giving them a singles run. I would love to see Montez get the opportunity to see if he can sink or swim, but I'm not saying that it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to swim.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they haven't won tag team gold in 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years. What are we doing? We're going to get a big WrestleMania announcement tomorrow. So Vegas, Viva Las Vegas. Is that what we're expecting tomorrow with Minnesota seemingly falling by the wayside?
Get it out of here.
Yeah.
I'm pissed. That means I got to fly. All right, our main event segment. I ain't driving 21 hours. That's a little long for me. Our main event segment tonight was AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes face to face. And just when you thought the crowd couldn't get louder, they got even louder. My question for you here, SP3, before I kick it over to Dutch to get his thoughts about our last two title matches tomorrow, is who is AJ Styles trying to convince that he is still in his prime? Is it Cody Rhodes? Is it the crowd, or is it himself? Do we think this is his character now, where he's come back? He seems a little overlooked. He racked up some losses, and now he's trying to maybe convince himself that he is still the guy he used to be.
The best kind of like traits that AJ Styles' new character has been kind of expressing or showing off since he's returned is very much insecurity with the whole LA Knight and that whole rivalry, where he just made up the rivalry in his head because someone had to replace you, dog. You're gone. Somebody got to replace you. Why are you so upset with him? Another one would be resentful. He has a lot of resentment in him and feels like you said, he's been overlooked. But most of all, and in spite of all of that, he's very like insecure. He's just very insecure right now, it seems. And he's overcompensating as well. So that's what all these things are coming to, creating this heel character. But I mean, this was a hot segment, so it felt like their rivalry has been good leading up to this, but it feels like it's just getting started. And I do think that Rick is now right what he said last week, what he said over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, that after this promo, it feels like this is just the start of the rivalry and not going to be the end tomorrow.
Yeah, what I said on True Heel Heat this week was I have a feeling, because first off, we get this report out from Wrestling Observer today that WWE has no like big plans for like Cody's creative for the next few months, and I'm sitting here, I'm going, yeah, they're going to use him to try to make some other guys on the roster, but in comparison, anybody's going to look lower compared to Roman Reigns and The Rock. So it's all subjective about what you see as big and what you don't. And this has been, it almost feels like Backlash should be 3 weeks from now with when they started this feud, which was literally last freaking week. Like, we got Julian saying AJ versus Cody. Where did this come from? Where's the backstory? The backstory is they're two Georgia boys. And once again, AJ's a guy who has respect for Cody's dad, and they're fighting over the WWE championship because AJ Styles won a #1 contenders match. Like, that basic, simple. There's where it is. That's where it's at. They started it last week. And hey, we're here for the title match. So that's why I definitely feel like it's going to be the start of something. And I feel like Cody, Dutch, I don't want to see it happen. I feel like Cody's winning by DQ tomorrow, and this is going to be the start of a series of 3 matches. That's just what I feel like is going to happen. He's not going to be able to beat Cody clean. He's going to kick out of the Styles Clash. He's going to get frustrated, and then we're going to have a smart ref in the main event. and AJ Styles is going to give him a low blow. Ref is going to catch it.
Oh, please,
Just
please,
ding,
dear
ding,
God.
ding, ding.
They're going to have a DQ in the main event of this pay-per-view that's going to sell out. No, I think you got a clean finish. I think Cody goes over. They get up. If they're going to do anything smart ass, they'll go to shake hands. Then it will happen.
Exactly.
So it'll be an exact repeat of
It don't matter.
of Nakamura and AJ Styles, just reversed.
Oh, it don't matter, but you can't do a false finish or a non-finish in Cody's first defense. I think that for all the faults that I've said about the build-up with AJ,
Sid, he knows that.
but for all the faults I've said about AJ and Cody and the feud feeling cold, I think that AJ is the right type of opponent for Cody. If you don't have any plans for Cody as far as like rivalries, then he should be facing former champions. It's not about a couple of months for him to put over other people. He's not in that position yet. He's not Roman Reigns. He is the guy that's trying to get up to where Roman Reigns was when he had that title. So he needs to face people that have been champion before, that have been established main eventers. So AJ Styles is the right idea. They just didn't take the time to build him up before he got into this position. But I think that now that they have the idea that Cody is the champion and he's going to be facing main eventers and former champions, hopefully they're building people up underneath that can fill these spots.
Yeah, not a lot of those guys on the SmackDown roster.
What was that?
I said there's not a lot of those guys that SP3 was talking about on there. I mean, what? You got AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, and Randy, right? That's Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I think that Cody goes over straight up. And how long has AJ been there?
See what I mean?
2016.
8 years now. I think. I think Dutch is right.
He's old hat, I think.
That Cody goes over and then AJ gets his heat back in the post match to set up a rematch.
We think this match is the main event tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Especially after the reaction it got on this show. Yeah, you have to. Yeah. What other match is supposed to main event this show?
Well, the only thing that I just found interesting, and I don't know if it was telegraphing or anything, but they closed out the show with RKO and Bloodline fighting again backstage. So I don't know. It was a quick thing, but I just like that Kevin Owens is just randomly fighting all over arenas too. Like I just
Rick, you know we love you here. So I only try to come up with other solutions to stuff you say because I love you and I'm your friend. So I want to tell you the two suggestions that you have given for Cody Rhodes' first title defense on a premium live event after finishing his story, his 2.5-year story in WWE, an 18-year story, and 38-year story of his life. You are telling us that you want to see either him not main event or his first title defense end in a DQ. That is literally the two things you have just suggested for Cody Rhodes'
now let me come back.
On pay-per-view.
Now let me come back. That is absolutely not what I want to see. Don't put those out there as these are my creative ideas and my thoughts. This is what I have the feeling deep down inside my stomach is what is going to happen. It's going to be one of those two things.
Then that's your feelings.
Well, that's not what I want. SP3 said they were my suggestions and that I want that to happen. That is not what I said at all.
Why do you have feelings that Biscuit Man is still booking the show? Why is that?
Maybe it's PTSD. I don't know. Okay.
We're going to start a GoFundMe for you.
It's going to take me a while to get used to good booking. Okay. Like Triple H still has to win me over on a regular basis for me to have trust. You got to earn my trust back.
Because we have a good booker now. That's why you saying these stuff. Is you suggesting it. It's you suggesting it because this is not what a good booker would do.
No.
I got PTSD. That's all I got. We do have one other match we haven't talked about yet because it's a Monday Night Raw title feud. How do we see Damian Priest's first title defense, I believe, at least on television, against main event Jey Uso going down this weekend? Dutch, any thoughts there? Jey Uso is a guy who gets title opportunities. He never wins them. I don't think he's winning this weekend either.
You don't think Damian Priest is winning?
No, I don't think Jey Uso is winning.
No,
I think he's losing
I don't
again.
think either. I think he'd have a little edge to it. Not too much, but not enough to piss him off. But I don't think Jey Uso. I think Damian Priest. I think that's a diamond in the rough they found. And I think they like him. I like him because he has that. You know, sometimes you see somebody and you said, I don't know what it is about him, but you just like him. And I think he's a hell of a heel. And I think they can do anything they want to do with him. And good talker, has good size. So, yeah, I think he will come out of this still the champion. And Jey Uso will have to find him another sunny pasture to lay down in.
Yeah, I'm hoping this title run for Damian is booked so
They
well.
could get a DQ.
Yeah, they could. But I'm hoping that this title run is booked so well that the crowds really start to get behind Damian and there's like a natural point where he can go back to being a babyface again, because he really is just like a really cool dude. Like he walks in a room and he's a rock star. Like he looks the part. He commands everybody's presence. He's a really nice guy. He's a really cool guy. I don't know if I said that already, but like I feel like this is a guy who's got main event level babyface written all over him. I'm hoping we get to that point, SP3.
I think that's kind of how they have been presenting him. Like the video package that they had for him following WrestleMania was very much a babyface video package, showing him on the independent scene and his come up, talking about him, living in his car before he got signed to WWE. All that stuff is stuff that they present a babyface, how they do that. So I think that the whole storyline that they got going on with the Judgment Day and him realizing that he doesn't need the Judgment Day and the Judgment Day needs him is also about this slow burn babyface turn that's going on right now. But yeah, I think Damian Priest retains. I think Jey Uso, this is a big test for him because I think that Jey Uso has shown signs of losing his confidence after WrestleMania. You know, he admitted what I said for 8 months, what was going to happen. I said that they shouldn't have turned Jimmy Uso the way they did, that this storyline didn't make any sense, that this build didn't make any sense, and then they went out and had the worst match of WrestleMania weekend. So, and he admitted that he let people down with the matchup. So that's a double down. He's got to respond and have a big matchup here that delivers bell to bell. So I'm hoping for that for Jey.
Well said, guys. If you put Damian, I'm going to give you an example. If you put Damian Priest in the ring with Logan Paul, who would be the babyface?
Damian Priest.
Damian Priest.
Yeah. So, and that proves your point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they want to see that Logan Paul is just a hellacious heel that you enjoy seeing. And Damian Priest, you know, I think the whole crowd would pick Damian Priest and cheer for him. So
whenever it happens, I would not be surprised if we get a Judgment Day callback, similar to when it was Damian who cleaned the clock of Edge and kicked him out of the group. Like, I would not be surprised if it's a callback like similar to that, but it's Finn Balor who's kicking Damian Priest out of the group, and it sets up that rivalry between those two, which is something that I want to see before the end of the year. All right, I don't want things to get contentious, but we do have one more super chat to read. Roland Curtis sending in a response. Roland sending in a response.
I don't like the way you said that, but go ahead.
My question didn't say anything about race either, and I am insulted that you would clumsily jump to that assumption. I just see Belair and Cargill to be as dominant as Banks and Naomi could have been. Shake my head. That is his response to our comments earlier. Roland, we do appreciate all the super chats and all your support. We really, really do.
Roland, we love you, brother.
I did not mean to offend or insult anybody. If I
Rick doesn't like you, but I do.
SP3, what do you got going on True Heel Heat this weekend?
Check out the True Heel Heat Flagship podcast. We go live tomorrow. Oh, no, not tomorrow, actually. On Sunday, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time. But join us live for the Backlash watch along starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time over there on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel.
Dutch, what you got going on?
Nothing. I'm going to go to sleep tonight. I'm going to sleep all weekend. Don't call me. Don't bother me. Don't call me to go out and have a drink with you. I'm not doing it. No. But my other podcast, Storytime with Dutch on YouTube, almost at 118,000 subscribers now. So I think it's moving along, still growing. And if you want to ask me something, Dirty Dutch Mantell with 2 L's at gmail.com.
Cool. Follow me on Twitter. It's right there. Enjoy Backlash, everybody. Have a great weekend.